Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, your channel on YouTube for all things PSG in English. Please subscribe. Today, the season is about to start. We're back. It's only been 4 weeks really since the last one ended, but already the 25-26 season is about to begin, and we're starting with a banger, literally. We're going to be playing Spurs in the European Super Cup in Udine in Italy. So let's talk about this and see what we can expect from the game. And I think, the first thing is the European Super Cup itself. Obviously, it's a trophy and a competition that we're not used to playing. It happens every year, and essentially it's a curtain raiser for the season between the champion of the Champions League from the past season and the winner of the Europa Cup, Europa League, Europa Cup, whatever it might be. But essentially, the winners of the top two European competition pitted against each other. Historically, it used to happen in Monaco for the longest time. I don't really know where they changed it, but now it's in Italy. So we're going to be heading to Udine. Like I said, we're going to be playing as Champions League winner in this competition. And we're going to be playing against Tottenham, who won the Europa League last year, if you remember, in an epic final clash against Man United. aka like the clash of the underperforming English giants, with the two teams, struggling in the Premier League all season, and yet somehow Tottenham finding a way to win this European Cup to save their season. So that was the one. PSG, interestingly, we've already played in a European Super Cup once, back in 1996 or 1997, after we won what was then the second European Cup in the Cup Winners' Cup. We played back then against Juventus, and it was an epic fail for PSG. One that the fans that go back to this, they will probably remember, because we lost. If I remember correctly, we lost 6-1 in the Parc des Princes for that first game. So we really got publicly spanked by Juventus, and then they ended up winning 3-1 in Turin on the return. So it was, a two-legged game back then. But over the two games, we ended up losing 9-2 against Juventus. And, obviously a lot of fun was made at the expense of PSG back in those days because of this. Obviously, different times, different world, hopefully. But we're going into this game, I think, with not a lot of certainty on either side, actually, whether it's on PSG side or on Tottenham side. But yeah, let me kind of run through what we can expect from this game, and what we know or what we can guess at. Starting with the starting 11s, actually. On PSG side, there's a lot of uncertainty because the team only got back in training a week ago. And so a lot of it will depend on players' fitness level, and not a lot of information has filtered through to the public. So we don't really know which players are fit, which players aren't. The few things that we know: Chevalier will be in goal for his first game with PSG. He will replace Donnarumma, who is not making the trip to Udine, and something we can talk about later. We know that João Neves in midfield is suspended after pulling the ear of Cucurella in the Club World Cup final. So likely where Warren Zaire-Emery will come in. We know that our other recruit so far, Zabarni, was just confirmed earlier today. Probably we will make the trip, but I don't think he'll be starting. He'll probably only have one or maybe two training sessions with the team, and that doesn't really feel like nearly enough. So we're probably looking at a starting 11 of Chevalier in goal, our usual defense of Hakimi, Marquinhos, Pacho, Nuno Mendes. In midfield, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz, and Warren Zaire-Emery. And in attack, little question mark around Dembele, who missed a training over the weekend because of a virus. And so it could be Kvara, Dembele, Doué. It could be Kvara, Barcola, Doué. It could be a variation. It could be Barcola, Dembele, Doué. As usual, there's some uncertainty, so we'll see what happens there. The club communicated that Dembele was fit, so he could very well play, but it's not entirely certain either. in any case, as soon as we get more information on the squad, I'll put something up here or on my Twitter that you can see somewhere at the bottom of this video. On the Tottenham side, I think there's less uncertainty there. They did have a few recruits this mercato window, and they do have a few players injured. They have a new coach as well, but at the same time, it feels like the starting 11 should be pretty clear. Typically, they're going to be playing in a 4-2-3-1 tactical shape. Vicario will be in goal. In defense, we'll have Spence on the left, Van der Veen and Romero in center defense, Porro on the right. Palhinha and Betancourt will be in midfield. With Sarr potentially playing not quite a number 10 position, but a little bit further up the pitch. Probably Kudus on the right, Johnson on the left, and Richarlison up front is typically what we'd be looking at. But like I said, it's a new coach. There's a lot of new players, so anything could happen. There's been whispers that they actually tried in training session playing in a 3-5-2 kind of shape. I honestly don't know what it would look like, and I'm really not sure on whether it's something that they want to try for a game against PSG. So for me, I don't think it's highly likely that we'll see that. I think they'll just stick with something a bit better known that they've been playing in the friendly games that they've played. So 4-2-3-1 feels likely. In terms of what to expect for the game, I think, like I said earlier, there's doubts on both sides. And I think on the PSG side, ultimately, there's more that is known because we know coming out of last season, we know our strengths, we know the kind of games that we're going to try to play. PSG is going to try to get possessions. They're going to try to play a very strong counter-pressing game, or gegenpressing. They're going to try to switch position a lot between players, a lot of mobility for our players. They're going to try to create overlaps. And they're going to try, through short passes to essentially pass their way to the back of the net. In a nutshell, that's what we've seen from Luis Enrique's team last season. Very much what we would expect. The uncertainty for us. So like I said, there's a couple of uncertainties in terms of players, but the big uncertainty is in terms of fitness level. And I think that's a big unknown for us in terms of how this PSG side is going to match up. We've only started training again a week ago after a 3 week of holiday. All of the players have had a 10-day personalized training routine that they were supposed to do for the last 10 days of their holiday. So in reality, players have supposed to have been training for 17 days and not just 7, which would make a big difference. But we do not know how diligent the players have been in following this. We don't know, if they've really stuck to it. We don't know how much of an absolute cut they took for the 2 weeks before that as well. And so, yes, that gives us a lot of uncertainty in terms of where each of the players is with their own fitness level. The reality of this, at least my personal sense, is that our players are known to be very, very professional and have a big appetite. So I do think most of them will have followed the training regimen pretty accurately. And I think, I don't expect, because the holiday was so short and because they knew that the season was going to kickstart straight from the get-go with a trophy to win, I think all of them would have been pretty mindful to stay at a decent physical level throughout their holiday. I don't think any of them would have gone on complete bonkers, eating 4 burgers a day and partying all night and putting on 10 kg in 2 weeks. Reality is I don't think that would be my expectation of them. And so in that context, 3 weeks of holiday is 21 days minus 10 days of having a personalized training regimen to follow. That leaves 10 days of actual holiday. Honestly, you don't really lose that much fitness in 10 days, would be my sense, especially with the extra training to balance it out at the end. So I'm hoping like the players stayed relatively sharp actually. And like obviously they were already coming off a Club World Cup where they were tired, and they were already at the end of what they could do fitness wise. But I'm hoping we're in a place now where they recharge the battery a little bit. They're a little bit sharper and fitter. Didn't drop a lot of match readiness in exchange of that. We'll see. I think that's the optimistic version of it. Honestly, I'm a PSG supporter, so that's my bias going into this. It could go either way. It could also be that they're 5 steps behind. But ultimately, like the other thing that we've got to worry about is that physicality isn't the only thing that will be going into a game. And yes, we might not be as fit as Tottenham, but we do have other weapons that we can use to balance it out and get a win out of this game. So that's really like my sense on the PSG side. On the Tottenham side, the uncertainty is more in terms of their new coach and their new tactical approach to the game. We're looking at a team that is going to try to develop a pretty aggressive high press and a very direct style of attacking. And I think that's the principles that we've seen out of Frank's old team of Brentford last season, and from the few friendly games that he's played, that's what we've seen them try to put in place. The last game that they played was against Bayern Munich, and they lost it 4-0. So it does show that they're not there yet. They do have a lot of work to do. They do seem to be trying to put new principles of play into place and to get adoption from the player, but they've got a long way ahead of them. At the same time, the 4-0 score lines against Bayern Munich, the reality is that I heard some people say that it was a little bit a little bit too big, and that they didn't really deserve to win by that much. The data of the game is very, very one-sided for Bayern Munich, but at the same time, a couple of the games that they scored came pretty late in the game, and I think in the context of a friendly, you can imagine a team that's lost the game at this point and not really caring that much about it. There's always a lot of players changes happening and rotations. So I think let's be a little bit careful about going into this game. Obviously, like the high press and direct football is giving a lot of fans, myself included, kind of Chelsea vibes of what worked really well for Chelsea against us in the Club World Cup final. I don't think Tottenham has the same caliber of player. I'll say this up front. I think Chelsea has a better team and they've got a better coach too, to really nail that approach. And at the same time, Tottenham, they haven't been playing like this for a long time, and so that's also something that came out of the Bayern Munich game, is that they're not completely clear on this tactical approach and how it's supposed to work and what each player is supposed to do and how they're supposed to get it done. And so that should give us opportunities as well to create danger and work around it, work around their press in particular. I think against the Bayern game, like they had moments where they try to press, but the timing doesn't quite match. The players are not completely in sync. And I think for us, it's going to be a question of, do we have the muscle memory of what we did last year in terms of beating high press? Do we have that muscle memory that we can just lean on? Vitinha gets going, passes the ball around in midfield, across our defense. It goes to Hakimi and to Doué. All of a sudden we can suck the pressure infield towards our defense to better explode and create chances for ourselves at the other halves. We'll see. The physicality will be a question mark, but yeah, like technically speaking, and in terms of having already a lot of experience and accumulated history of playing together with the same kind of starting 11 against this kind of opponent, proposing this sort of tactic. We should have a lot of things already worked out that we can just apply and try to use to get the win at. So yeah, that will be the question mark for Tottenham. The other thing as well, and I think that's a classic with English team. Typically Brentford last season, and so the team of Tottenham's new coach, they were quite good with set pieces. So that's also something that we might be mindful of. They might just break out specifically for this game some new combinations, some new stuff, and try to use that to score goals on us. So we'll see about. Okay, and then to close this out, players to watch. I think it's interesting. I'll give you 3 on each side. I'll start with Tottenham, and we'll follow up with PSG. I think on the Tottenham side, 3 players to look at. Central defenders Romero, who's obviously very experienced. He's been playing at that level for a long time. But sometimes he can really go a little bit crazy during games and get completely thrown off his game. So maybe there's a little bit of vice that a player like Vara, who's going to play more or less in that same area, can push on him and try to get him push him out of his game. Maybe a red card isn't completely out of the question. Maybe a penalty isn't completely out of the question. So that's a player who might be a little bit weak, and that we might be able to push out of his game. Second one, Mohamed Kudus, who's their big recruit of the summer in Tottenham. He's going to be playing on the right wing. He's a very skilled, very fast, very dangerous kind of attacking midfielder who can cut back in field on his left foot and create havoc in our defense. That's going to be, the next player that Nuno Mendes is going to put in his pocket, and the first one for the new season. So that's going to be an interesting duel to watch. And I think after the final of the Club World Cup, he is the player that's playing in the role where Cole Palmer hurt us so much. So I can see Tottenham trying to push the ball to him very quickly, very directly, and try to create mayhem this way. So Nuno Mendes will need to do a better job. Pacho with him as well. And then the last player is Richarlison, who's their number 9. Is one of those number 9s who's not the most prolific goal scorer in world football, but at the same time, if they score goals, the chances are that he's going to go through him. So we'll need to be pretty mindful of him. And Pacho and Marquinhos will need to be very sharp in marking him, in making sure that he's cornered and he's not given any chances. So for me, that's really the three defenders, the three Tottenham players to watch who could flip the game one way or the other. On the PSG side, I'll say the first one will be Lucas Chevalier, our new goalkeeper. It's going to be his first game, given all of the conversation around Donnarumma. There's a lot of eyes on him as well. So yeah, he's going to be one to watch, and hopefully he has a good game. No major blunders for him to restart the whole debate with Donnarumma. A clean game and starting to get the feel for his partners as well. Second player who I think is going to be interesting is going to be Vitinha. It's an easy truth coming off of last season, but if Vitinha has a good game, PSG has a good game. And I think against a high press, that's even more true. If Vitinha manages to find pockets of space, manages to find spaces away from whoever is going to be following him around, and manages to find lines of passing, then we're going to be in a good situation. If on the other end they manage to close him down, they manage to muscle him, it could be a lot trickier for us. So that's going to be one to watch. And then the last one, I think it's going to be Dembele. like I said, there's a little question mark in terms of where he is in terms of fitness. We'll see about this. But, like there's a lot of conversation around the Ballon d'Or happening these days. It's another trophy to win, another trophy to lift. And so it's a game where it needs to be decisive from an individual perspective, but also from a collective one. We do need him to be at his best, scoring goals, hopefully, and making differences, or at least doing what he's been doing really well, which is being that first lines of pressure that we apply against the opposition team. And if we can, press at that level, press on their keeper, press on their central defense, who for all of their speed and skills aren't the most technical players, then we might be able to unlock things and make the game easy for ourselves. So Dembele should be one that we look at. So anyway, this is what I had. In terms of my prediction for the game, I think it's a really, really tough one, but I'm going to stick to my guns and say it's going to be a PSG win. I think we go into this as favorites, but I don't think it's going to be an easy one. I think we win 2-0. 2-0 sounds about right. 2-0 wins, and I think, a goal from Dembele and a goal from Kvara. It's been a while. It's gonna be my thing. The game is Wednesday night Italian time. So wherever you are in the world, just do the conversion. And we'll be doing a match review after it anyway, regardless of what happens. We'll be talking about what went right and what went wrong, and hopefully, we'll be celebrating our first trophy of the season. Anyway, thanks so much for watching this. Thanks for making it all the way to the end. Please like this video if you made it. Let me know in the comment what your prediction is for the game. And as always, please do subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell as well to get notified of future videos. And don't forget, in Italy for the Super Cup, ici c'est Paris!